All right, it is time to put together our printer. So we're putting together the Ender 3 V2 Neo, and I'm just going to start out with a razor, and hopefully all the tools we need should be in the box. So I'm actually going to show you one of my favorite little details here, and they haven't changed this for a while. Is it says the little umbrella afraid of wet. Just a translation thing that always makes me giggle. But anyways, yeah, so here's the printer, and I'm gonna set it down here, and I'm just gonna cut into it and see what we can find in here. There we go. So, take this foam out, get it out of the way. We've got our guide here, some stickers, things like that. I'm just gonna take that and put that out of the way for right now. We've got some more stuff in the foam. Looks like we've got our display here. Right, this is our display. I'm gonna put that aside for right now. I'm gonna try and put things in a way that's easy to find everything. We've got, oh look, here's our bag. We've got tools in here. Power cord, we're not gonna need that for a while, so put that aside. I'm gonna get my tools out and ready because we're definitely gonna need those. So I'm just gonna set them down. It looks like we can go over some of the accessories that we've got in here in a little bit. Yeah. So let's see, what else do we have here? We got this guy. This is our spool holder. Don't need that quite yet. Put that out of the way. We've got a little scraper. So I'm just going to take this scraper and put it with the rest of the tools, I suppose, or that bag of stuff. And now I think we can remove this chunk of foam. Oof, my camera guy's having some issues here. So yeah, so I'm gonna remove this chunk of foam, and now we can see what's actually in the printer's box here. All right, the actual printer. And I believe looking up at this, there was actually only 3 parts that we had to assemble. So we've got this guy here. Oop, and you want to be careful because it looks like it is attached to quite a bit of stuff here. So I'm gonna just take, got some foam here. Try and take this foam out. So it looks like we got some foam that's kind of interweaved with the rest of our stuff. So I'm just gonna actually just take it all out. Take out as much foam as I can to make it easy. And you know what? Yeah, let me move this down just a little bit better so you can see what's going on. No, not that it's anything super advanced, it's just taking crap out of the box. But there. And get this foam out. And let's see if I can pull this guy's body out. Like I said, we do want to be careful. We don't want to stress this cable that appears to already be attached to something. Getting up from the rear here. And there we go. That's the bulk of the printer is right there. And I don't think there's anything else in the box. Nope. So take this and just get it out of the way, add it to the mess back there. So here's what we've got. Yeah, actually this assembly looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward. We just need to attach this to that and we're almost exactly where we need to go. I think that might be backwards actually. Yeah, attach this that way. And a couple cables. Yeah, that's in pretty good shape. So I suppose what they often tell you to do is look at the manual. So I'm gonna open up my manual here and just take a look and see what what they recommend, or the order of operations that they recommend here. So, all right, to our dear users, scan a QR code. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it's actually, oof, harsh lighting. But if you look at your manual, you can actually see we're installing the top part of the gantry, and then the display, and then we can just start leveling it, and it's about ready. So the assembly for this guy is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So I'm assuming I'm gonna find some bolts in here. Here are bolts, and this is it's gonna hold together. Looks like I might even have one spare. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna take these guys out of here. Looks like we're gonna need 4 of them. Put these guys there. And get our appropriately sized Allen wrench out. Let's put this guy here. Yep. All right. And maybe I'm gonna take this guy, put it on its side, maybe? Doesn't super matter. Here, I'm just gonna kind of hold it here. And push this screw here all the way through just to kind of help align it. And there we go. Let's see my hands. All right, and I'm gonna take another screw here, all right, and I'm gonna just feed it in through the bottom here. And notice I didn't tighten down the other one yet. I'm just kind of trying to get this loosely put in here. It's always good advice to do a loose fit before you start tightening things. Just because sometimes if things are a little misaligned, if you tighten things down, that's just gonna make that misalignment even harder to deal with. When you're putting these on here, make sure that the little washers, little crush washers, don't come off. Right? You wanna make sure that those are also part of the assembly here. So as I'm tightening this, I was noticing that it was kind of a little hard to tighten by hand. And so I just came over with this hand here and made sure that I'm actually 90 degrees to my frame, because if you're at an angle, it's gonna be a little bit harder for it to get tightened in there. So once again, I'm just doing finger tightening, and let's get this last one in here. Yeah, so as you're tightening, it is just really, really hard. That means that you're probably cross-threading something, or you're not actually threading something in right. And usually what you want to do in that case is you're going to want to actually back it all the way out and restart. So now I'm going to take the wrench, and I'm just going to tighten this guy. And I'm going to go all the way to the opposite end and do this side here. Tighten it up. I'm going to do this guy. And finally, I'm going to do this guy. I shouldn't say finally, because I'm actually going to go back and tighten them up. One last little push here. All right, so I'm actually gonna make sure I'm using the long side now so I can get a little bit more leverage. And I'm gonna tighten this guy up. And I'm gonna go over the other side and do the same thing here. Give it a good tight pass there. Come over here. Tighten that guy up. And finally this guy right here. And then we should be done with this little step. Nice. So it looks like what's up next for us is to do our LCD. If we look at our manual here, yeah, we put our gantry on. Then our LCD looks like it just, so we've got our LCD and then our filament spool holder. So I'm gonna snap the LCD on there. Let's see how it says. So place the display screen on the side of the right profile, snap into the profile in parallel and tighten the screws. Yeah, so there's some little like T-nut type things here that we're gonna have to feed in. So let me see if I can show that process here. I'm gonna put this on its side, and we might have to loosen these guys up a little bit first. So I'm gonna find the Allen wrench that fits in there. This guy might be too big. Yep. I'm gonna take this Allen wrench here. Too small. So that only leaves this one right here. Nice. Yep, so I'm holding my finger up on these T-nuts here, just so the whole thing doesn't spin when I try and loosen this up. There we go. So now they can move around a little bit. And these guys are going to need to get into this slot here. So I'm going to do a rough alignment. Yeah. There we go. And now I'm just going to go through and tighten these up. Let's see if they get captive here. No, I don't know if they're going to get captive. We might have to do some finagling here. So I might have to, let's see, I always have a little bit of trouble with these guys. Well, let's see what the manual says the best way to do these are. Yep. It just says snap in. Well. Let's snap that off. I guess it maybe might make things a little bit more visible, but. So normally the way I've done these in the past is I feed them in through the side, but it looks like here, like normally I'll like feed them in through this rail, but it looks like they don't want us to do it because they've already got this piece of plastic that's mounted on there. So I'm gonna loosen these guys up. Make sure they fit in there. And so this might be a little bit hard to do, but I'm gonna take my Allen wrench and just kind of try and tap those into the right position. All right. And actually it might be as these guys tighten, they might kind of yeah, it is, they're actually kind of gripping as I tighten. So maybe what I was looking at wasn't even really necessary. This isn't a structural component, so it doesn't even need to be that tight. I'm gonna take the display and I'm gonna put back on there. And I'm assuming this cable right here is our LCD cable. So let's just plug that in. There we go. That's all ready to go. All right. So what do we got left? Well, we've got some cables here. It looks like, So if we look at these cables, they got the little tags on them. We've got one that says E, which I'm guessing is extruder. We've got this one that says X, which I'm guessing is X-axis. And we've got this other one that says X. It only has 3 wires, and so I'm assuming that that means it's the limit switch. So, you know, let me turn my light down just a little bit here. I think it might be a little harsher than what we really need. Yeah. Okay. So this is going to the X-axis motor. So I'm actually just gonna show you here. I'm just gonna plug this in right here like that. And this is looking for the, this 3-wire one is looking for the X-axis limit switch. So let's see, where's our limit switch at? It's gotta be underneath here. So I can see this guy right here is kind of the clicky limit switch, and that wire, this comes around. Note that these connectors do have only one right way to go in, so if you're trying to force it, you probably have it upside down. All right, and that leaves me with this, oopsie daisies, I made a mistake. I accidentally connected my X-axis into my extruder. I wasn't even looking, I just wanted to connect it to a motor. So actually, I'm gonna take this guy, this right here is our extruder. How can I tell? Well, I can see this little toothed gear here, which is for extrusion, and I can see the little Bowden sheath that feeds into the actual nozzle. So I'm gonna take this guy out that says X, and I'm gonna plug that in to the motor that controls the X-axis. There we go. And so I'm gonna try and make sure that my wires don't get all twisted up, just for mostly aesthetic reasons, but also there's some slack reasons. So this one that says E, I'm replugging that in right here. There we go. And it looks like all I've really got left is this, down at the bottom, this thing that says Z. This is my Z axis, and it's going along this guy right here, this motor. And I really think that might be it. It looks like I'm checking underneath, and I see that the Y-axis is already connected. Yeah, so there's something that's pretty important, right? You don't want to accidentally screw this up. At the back, I can see the power supply. Right, I can see the power supply here, and right now it says 230 volts. If you're in the United States, you want that to say 120 volts. And so I'm gonna just take this wrench here, and I'm gonna just snap that so it says 115 volts, which is, you know, 120, right? So I think this is fully assembled. Like, I don't think there's, I don't think there's anything left to do. So I guess I'm gonna stop the video and go on to the next step, which is turning this guy on.